6 signs of a fake person. If you become close to them, you will be dragged down. 1. Gossip. People who gossip are often dissatisfied with themselves and live in anxiety and insecurity. They gossip as a way to drag others down in order to temporarily increase their self-worth. Instead of facing their own internal problems, they choose to compare, judge, and put others down to cover up their feelings of lack and insecurity. On the contrary, kind people do not need to use words to put anyone down. They understand that a person's true value does not lie in hurting others, but in their ability to help and encourage. When they give advice, the goal is to help others grow, not to judge or show off. Kind people always choose to build relationships on a foundation of sincerity and support. Instead of pulling others down, they seek to lift people up because they know that personal and community development comes from sharing, empathy, and kindness. 2. They only respect people in power. People who live by only respecting people in power, flattering their superiors, and looking down on the weak often show a fake, dishonest, and unethical lifestyle. At work, they may be sweet to their boss, but at the same time look down on people they consider inferior to them. They choose how to behave depending on the benefits others can bring them. On the contrary, a kind, genuine person always respects everyone around them, regardless of their status or ability. They do not judge a person based solely on the power or benefits that person can bring. Kind people understand that respect is not something to be exchanged, but a core value to treat people sincerely and fairly. In life, how a person treats those who cannot bring them any benefits is the true measure of their character and value. Kind people do not need power or benefits as a condition to respect others, but they live true to their kind nature, bringing kindness and fairness to everyone, regardless of their position in society. Regardless of their 3. Criticism. The psychology of criticism often comes from insecurity and jealousy. These people do not have confidence in themselves, so they use criticism as a way to put others down and feel superior. They fear that the success of others threatens their status, and instead of learning or praising, they seek to speak ill of and criticize to hide their fear of being inferior. These people often do not easily praise because they think that acknowledging the success of others reduces their own value. They live in contradiction and often fall into a vicious cycle of jealousy and dissatisfaction, finding it difficult to find true happiness. On the contrary, kind people are confident in their abilities and are not threatened by the success of others. They see that success as a source of motivation and are always ready to praise and support. They understand that helping others does not reduce their value, but also creates positivity and harmony in relationships. 4. Only help others when it benefits them. People with a hypocritical lifestyle often think only of their own interests before thinking of the needs or interests of others. They live on the principle of exploitation, and every act of helping is carefully considered in terms of the benefits they can receive in return. If they see that a task can bring them material benefits or social status, they will quickly jump in and do it with generosity. However, when faced with a task that has no personal benefits, whether it is an opportunity to help others or do good, they will find ways to avoid, hide, and even ignore it. Hypocritical people often put on a mask of kindness, but in fact, they only act when they see direct benefits for themselves. They may appear generous and enthusiastic in situations where their actions are noticed or honored, but if it does not help them further or does not bring them anything significant, they will be indifferent or find a way to avoid it. Their main motivation is not a genuine desire to help others, but to gain benefits for themselves through that action. They may use the excuse of being busy or not being capable when faced with situations that require selfless help without any reward. But when they see an opportunity to show off or receive something in return, their presence becomes sudden, quick, and enthusiastic. Their help is superficial, lacking sincerity and altruism, making them seem like people who only think about their own interests without caring about the needs of others. On the contrary, kind people do not act out of the expectation of praise or gratitude, but because they understand that kindness is an intrinsic value, a way to build sincere relationships and contribute to a better community. They do not consider the benefits before deciding to help, but are willing to support even if it requires great sacrifice or effort. Their help comes from compassion and the desire to do good, not because of any benefits they may receive. 5. Attention-seeking. The attention-seeking mentality often goes hand in hand with hypocrisy when a person always craves recognition and praise from those around them. They not only want to be recognized for their achievements, but they also want to be honored and admired without limit. Hypocrites, when they achieve something, often have a strong need to make everyone know about it. They feel that they cannot be satisfied without the attention of others, because this recognition is the measure of their value in the eyes of themselves and society. This desire for attention stems from a deep anxiety about not being good enough, not important enough. They lack confidence in their true self-worth, and instead of focusing on improving themselves, they use achievements or actions that impress others to cover up their inner shortcomings. For them, it is not true success that is the goal, but attention and praise from those around them. This makes them live in an illusion of self-worth, depending on the approving eyes of others to feel that they are meaningful. In fact, impressing or creating sympathy is normal and positive because everyone wants to be recognized to some extent. However, when this becomes a way of life, a constant need that the person is always trying to satisfy, it is a sign of hypocrisy and emptiness. Hypocrites often do things not out of enthusiasm or sincerity, but just to receive recognition or praise. They may do good things, but their purpose is not to help or improve the situation, but only to attract attention or personal benefits. Furthermore, hypocrites do not just want to attract attention, they also want to be seen as better and more noble than others. They often create a perfect appearance, appear moral, benevolent, but all just to serve their ego. They crave not only to be known by others, but also want others to think they are great people, models to follow. Meanwhile, the reality inside them is often empty, insincere, and calculating. On the contrary, truly kind people do not need attention or admiration to affirm their worth. They do good because it is the right thing to do, and recognition from others, if any, is just a secondary reward. These people do not care how many people know about their success, because they understand that their true value lies in what they have contributed to society and to others, not in how much praise they receive. They live honestly, without hiding or boasting about themselves. Therefore, they are often loved and respected for a long time, while hypocrites can only maintain a good appearance until their hypocrisy is exposed. 6. Like to talk nonsense. Hypocrites often have the habit of talking nonsense and like to exaggerate everything. They build their image through flowery, eloquent, and ostentatious words, but in reality, their promises and declarations are often not accompanied by real actions. They like to brag about themselves, talk about achievements they have not achieved, or even exaggerate small things into big things to impress others. This is not a manifestation of true confidence, but often comes from low self-esteem and insecurity. These people tend to create a shiny, perfect image of themselves, trying to prove themselves better through words, but lack sincerity and substance in actions. They use unfulfilled promises or unfounded words to hide their shortcomings, fears, and insecurities. By talking, they create an illusion of success or self-worth, hoping that others will see them the way they want. They may talk about big plans and strong commitments, but when it comes to implementation, they often avoid or shirk responsibility. This causes people around them to gradually lose trust because their words never match their actions. Hypocrites often do not realize that, although they may attract temporary attention through their words, in the long run their true nature will be revealed when there is nothing practical to prove their boasting. The core of this empty talk comes from the fact that they feel inadequate in the eyes of others, and therefore they need to exaggerate themselves to create a sense of power or value. They cannot accept the truth about themselves, so they use words to paint a false image, a shell to protect themselves from criticism or inferiority. However, this pretense is not sustainable, because sooner or later the empty words will be discovered and their credibility will be reduced. On the contrary, kind people do not need to brag or talk in vain to affirm their value. They understand that true value does not lie in exaggerated words, but in sincere actions. Kind people always act according to their words, do not need to show off or impress with empty promises. They do not seek attention by building an unrealistic image of themselves, but instead they let their actions speak for themselves and their values. Instead of exaggerating or talking, kind people focus on doing good and bringing real value to those around them. They do not need flowery words to hide themselves, because they know that true kindness lies not in big words, but in small but meaningful actions. They do not need to prove themselves through eloquent words, but by quietly doing the right things, making a difference in their own lives and the lives of others. Thank you for watching today's video about 6 signs of fake people. Hopefully through this content you can recognize the signs to stay away from negative relationships, helping yourself develop better. If you find the video useful, please leave a comment below to share your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to receive more useful content. Thank you and see you in the next videos.